How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller and full-time student, and in this video I'm going to be running you through some of the tools that you actually do need and don't need to run an Amazon business. There's a ton of tools and softwares out there, lots to choose from. Kind of can get overwhelming with what you actually need and don't need. So I'm going to kind of run through the process of how I would source some products, the beginning to end process, kind of show you the tools you actually do need for your business, the tools that I personally use. So hopefully you find this video useful, especially if you're just getting started. It should be very useful for you. We do have a free Amazon seller Discord. There's going to be a link down below. There's over 10,000 people in there sharing all kinds of great information that normal people would charge for. So I'd love to see you in there. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. So the easiest way to show you what tools you do actually need for your Amazon business, I'm going to just go ahead and run through a quick little brief process for how I would find an item and then go ahead and send that to Amazon and then handle the pricing of it. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way to kind of break it down in terms of when you need to use what software when. So we're going to go ahead and start by trying to find a product. If you've watched my videos before, I'm sure you're familiar with this process, but this is called reverse sourcing for online arbitrage. This is just kind of a great beginner way to get your kind of feet wet in Amazon with minimal software costs, because the only software you need for this sourcing method is Keepa, and that's $20 a month. So basically, we're going to a Walmart brand product because these Walmart brand products, all the sellers are going to be OA and RA sellers. That means they're flipping products from retail stores just like we are when we're first starting out. So we're just going to go ahead and go over here and click through the FBA sellers on this listing. And we're going to try to find some products that they are selling. So we can kind of reverse source those products reasonably. If they're selling those products, they're probably making a little bit of profit. So hopefully we can kind of figure out where they're getting these products from. And this is where our first free tool comes into play. It's this one right here. It's called DS Amazon Quick View. This one is free, like I said. There is a premium version, but I don't even use it, as you can see here. It could be useful, but you can hover over right there. I guess I'm blocking it. You see how you can see that Keepa graph there? That's pretty much super useful, as well as showing you the sellers on the listing. So in this case, we can see Amazon's on it, and there's 5 FBA sellers. So when we're reverse sourcing, we're generally looking for listings that Amazon is not already on, because we don't want to compete with Amazon, right? So we're just going to go ahead and click through some listings that look a little overpriced, have decent sales volume, and something we could reasonably reverse source from another store. So I'm going to go ahead and click on a couple items here. So these are probably some decent items that I picked out of here. I can kind of run you through my thought process here. I don't want to skip too many steps. So these I'm skipping because Amazon's on them. This one is probably going to be a skip because you can see the price is not very high. Difficult to squeeze profit out at that price point. This one Amazon's on. Amazon. This one was only $10 for this big little set here, so I doubt that's going to be profitable. This one is $25. It is a decent sized little container, so I doubt it's going to be profitable, but we can go ahead and look at it. This is where we came from, Amazon. So I hope that kind of shows you a little bit of insight into the process of what I'm clicking on, what I'm not clicking on when I'm reverse sourcing, because this is an awesome way to find your first couple products, especially if you're just getting started out. So we're going to go ahead and click through these actual listings now, and this is where Keepa comes into play. So we can actually track the sales rank. Looks like this Keepa graph is a little broken. You see how that sales rank kind of disappears here. So maybe a little bit of a bad example, but we can see the price over time. So in this case, we're looking at a 4 count of Kit Kats. It's selling for like $6.50. So we're probably not going to be able to get any profit out of this, but this is where another free tool comes into play. It's just called FBA Calculator. It's completely free Chrome extension that calculates your costs for you. I think it does the same thing as RevSeller. If I'm sure some of you have heard of that, but it's a free version of it. So we're going to go ahead and type in 640 just to see what kind of costs we would need to have. So we would basically need to be getting all 4 of these bars for like $1 to make it even close to worth it. So definitely we're not going to be able to find that deal going on. So we're going to go ahead and skip on to the next one here. Again, we're going to look at the Keepa graph here, and we're just looking to see. So in this case, it looks like Amazon is out of stock a decent amount of time. I do sell on listings where Amazon is on them occasionally, but if they are completely on the listing all the time, like if I had looked at this item back here, you see how Amazon's pretty much always on this. Let me go ahead and take some things away. It's getting kind of funky over here. There we go. So I'll take that away. You see how Amazon was pretty much always on it for like almost a year. This I would not have touched. But more recently, it looks like they've had some pretty serious supply chain issues, so we could be able to take advantage of this one actually. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can find this item. It is heavy, so it's probably not going to be profitable, but we'll just go through the exercise just to show you how you would do it. It looks like this one, if you can actually get this for $6.50, that would be awesome. Looks like Walmart has it for $12. We can go ahead and check out this Miracle Grow. So it looks like that was the wrong size for that Miracle Grow. It's actually $15.99. Home Depot, we're looking at the wrong size again. And then over on Walmart, it was $12. So we're going to go ahead and punch that into our FBA calculator. Looks like on the Keepa graph, it's been decently consistently selling for 20, maybe 24. I'm just going to go ahead and type in 22 to call it safe. But you can see here there is no profit here, especially after you pay to ship a 5-pound product. But that was kind of what I figured. So we can look at this one too. This one is a little more promising, honestly. It's 4 count of razors for $18. So that's a decent potential for there to be arbitrage here. So we're going to go ahead and search this into Google, see if we can find it somewhere else. Looks like it might be here. Is this the same product? Target might have it for, what was it, $12, and it looks like on Amazon it was going for 17, so there's probably not a lot of profit here. We can plug it in just to check it out here. But yeah, so we're losing $1 here. But this process really does work. I'm going to go ahead and continue on with the next tools you're going to need just for the sake of time. But this reverse sourcing method is something that myself and my team still do to this day. And it's an awesome way to source your first couple products because all you need is this Keepa subscription right here. That's only going to run you $20 a month. But the next tool I would actually use is a Jungle Scout Chrome or the estimator, I guess you could use if you want to stay as cheap as possible. And then I'll show you the faster way to do this using the estimator. So what we're going to do is grab the average 30-day sales rank here from the data. We're looking at product details. Down here we're going to grab this number right here, this 47,000 number. We're going to go 47,000. We are in the US marketplace. And then we're also going to go ahead and check out the category. So we're looking at beauty here, beauty and personal care, and then we're going to estimate our sales. So we're looking at 210 sales per month. Just for the sake of the video, let's say we found this for $6 or something that's profitable. We would then take out this reference ID in the URL. Because we're reverse sourcing, this is just kind of a weird formatting thing that Amazon does. If you take everything out after the REF, it'll go to the main listing where we can actually see how much competition we actually have. That is kind of something that's, you know, a little finicky, but go ahead and take out that reference ID and you'll be good to go. So what we're doing now is we're counting the number of sellers who are priced within a couple percentage of the buy box price, and we're also looking for sellers who are delivering on the same day as the current buy box price. It doesn't necessarily have to be FBA. Let's say FBA offers are just getting shipped into the warehouse. A merchant fulfilled offer could actually be getting the buy box because those FBA offers are slower. That is one thing to look out for. But in this case, we're looking at a pretty standard FBA competition here. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then these guys I would not consider competitive because they are both merchant fulfilled and a little too high priced. So you would be number 8. You would go ahead and run a little calculation there. You're gonna do that 210 divided by 9 because you would be the you'd be the 8th seller. Sorry, I already added myself in there. So you would probably be selling about 25 of those every month, 25 to 30. So that's how you would inform your pricing decisions. The faster way to do this is to use the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. And with the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, you're just going to press the extension and it will tell you the number of monthly sales it gets. In this case, this one is telling us that we get 283. So I would say that the estimator, since you're paying for it and stuff, it is going to be probably more accurate. This extension is not free. I do have a link. I think it's like 30% off for you guys down below if you wanted to kind of speed up your sales estimations using Jungle Scout. I think it's a little more accurate as well, but it's definitely not necessary, especially if you're first starting out. So now that we actually have the products, we bought some products from Target, Walmart, wherever, we're looking to ship those to our house. The next software that I would highly recommend getting is Inventory Lab. You can probably do your first couple shipments just using the regular Amazon Seller Central, but Inventory Lab is only $50 a month, and if you kind of consider the amount of time you're going to save by upgrading to a listing software, not to mention the fact that it will also monitor your bookkeeping and stuff like that. I would say it's probably worth the upgrade fairly soon, probably somewhere around 500 to 1,000 a month in sales. Unless you're on a really thin budget, then probably pass on it for a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and show you here why Inventory Lab is so useful. So on Inventory Lab over here, the main time saver that you're going to get is by using the prep feature of Inventory Lab. So what you can do is, let's say we are going to go ahead and ship those razors into Amazon. You're going to search those up into the bar up here. It's going to pull up the item. You're going to go ahead and select it, and then now you can assign all kinds of useful data to it. You can see the offers that are currently going for sale up here. So in this case, you can see, there's a 719 or 1719. Maybe I want to hold out for the 1799. Since that is the next offer up here. But you can also go ahead and choose the number of quantity you have. You can do your cost per unit, what day you purchased it, what supplier you had. So you can embed all kinds of information into your SKU here. This is super useful for your decisions later on when you go back and reprice things, or just doing some internal auditing, anything like that, where you need to know what your items, what you paid for your items without having to reference your bookkeeping. You can actually just see it in the SKU. So let's say I needed to reprice this item down a couple dollars. I could look at what I paid for it and see if I'm still making a profit, or if I should hold out, anything like that. If you do have more questions as far as creating a batch, creating a shipment using Inventory Lab, there is going to be a video up in this corner up there. But this is just kind of a brief introduction into why you might need Inventory Lab for your business. The second thing I would highly like Inventory Lab for is for the profitability features of it. I'll go ahead and jump into my category profitability. Unfortunately, I can't show you my ASIN profitability right now, but you can go ahead and sort by a category. You can see where you're making the most profit. Looks like right now it's health and beauty and apparel and shoes for me. That's been a big transition. I've been adding a lot of apparel and shoes, but you can kind of take a glance at what you're actually making, see if the ROIs that you're generating are worth it in that category, see if you need to focus your efforts somewhere else. Like you can see, I only sold 14, but I guess my books ROI is really high because I'm getting those really cheap. Whereas shoes tends to be a little bit lower because they are very competitive, that kind of thing. But you can kind of go back and audit what inventory you should kind of focus on more. On the ASIN level, I unfortunately can't show you that, like I said, but you can narrow down to the ASIN level, all kinds of good, useful bookkeeping information. Not to mention that this is tracking all of that information for Taxman at the end of the year. Another tool that I would highly recommend you use as you get into starting to sell $1,000 or $2,000 a month on Amazon is getting a repricer. My personal favorite repricer is BeCool. I use the BeCool AI plan, which is fairly expensive, but they do have starting plans that are only $25 a month. Again, I do have a discount code or a free trial or something for you guys down below if you want to jump into using a repricer. But this one is super powerful because you can set your minimum and maximum price for each item. This is something that gets a little bit tedious with books when you're buying a ton of different ASINs, but when you're doing online arbitrage or wholesale where you're buying pretty deep on one specific ASIN, it is very useful to be able to narrow down to the minimum and maximum price. You can create your own custom repricing rules for it to show you exactly what is going to change. So for example, we can go ahead and check out, I think this is the rule that I use when I'm not running AI. So you can see it's excluding sellers with low feedback. It's excluding sellers with zero feedback. As far as when I'm not in the buy box, it's going to go ahead and match the sellers with that buy box price. Quick side note, if you are new to Amazon, do not set your repricer to undercut your competition. Set it to match their price, because chances are if you undercut them, they're just going to match you. Your repricer is going to keep going under them. They're going to match you. And then you're both going to be still sharing sales, but you're going to be $1 or $2 less profitable. Just match the price. You're going to be a lot better off in the long run. That's a mistake that a lot of beginners make. Unless you're really aggressively trying to liquidate an ASIN, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to undercut your competition. But you can kind of see the advanced rules that you can set with BeCool. And this is just with the cheap plan. Once you get into AI, the rules are kind of set for you, and it will do some crazy wizardry on the back end. I don't know how half of this stuff works, but I've seen some items where the price is actually increasing, but it's increasing my buy box rotation and profit at the same time. Very cool. But the regular $25 a month plan is super powerful. So with those tools, you should be well on your way to building a very big Amazon business. I would say the next upgrade you probably would want to do is probably like a tactical arbitrage or a sourcing software of some kind, just to make the sourcing a little bit faster. But with Keepa, you're going to be able to learn how to manually source some things, dive into clearance sections, target specific sales with not a ton of items. That's going to be a great way to find inventory without sourcing softwares, and then throw in a repricer and inventory lab. Once you get to $1,000 or two every month, that's going to help save you a ton of time, so you can invest more money into products and all that kind of stuff. But I hope this video has been useful for your business. If it has helped out your business, help out mine and hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate that. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop those down below as well. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.